So OnePlus just announced a new phone, a phone they call OnePlus Nord, and it has a starting price of less than $500. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, OnePlus is selling cheap phones again, and they also claim that Nord functions very similarly as some of the top tier flagships on the market. Now if you watched the OnePlus keynote, you may have seen all of the specs, design, features, but the question that still stands is if it's worth purchasing. I'm here to help you with that because I've been lucky enough to use the OnePlus Nord for a few weeks now, so here are my first impressions. Let's start with the name of the phone, because let's face it, it's pretty random. I mean, what even is a Nord? It reminds me of a previous sponsor that I had. Well, according to OnePlus, Nord in European languages means north. Yep, the direction in a compass. Why did they name it Nord? Well, according to them, north in a compass points towards growth and success, so that's the direction that OnePlus wants to keep moving, and they're starting a new product line, so we may begin to see a range of new low-budget smartphones with this branding. But will this phone live up to its name and be very successful? Well, first off, the OnePlus Nord is already limiting its potential because it's only launching in Europe, India, Hong Kong, China, and Malaysia. So if you're in the US or any other country that is not from Europe or Asia, as of now, you won't be able to purchase this budget smartphone. It's kind of a bummer. I'm not saying that just because they don't sell this phone in the US, the phone won't be successful at all. It most likely will. However, I am saying that there's a potential to become even more successful because many people in the US wouldn't mind purchasing an affordable phone that isn't from Samsung or Apple. So if you're lucky enough to be living in one of those continents, the OnePlus Nord has a lot going for itself. Right off the bat, the low price tag gives it a good start. Now it's up to the hardware inside of it to make it the best bang for your buck. And personally, in the time that I've been using it, even though it doesn't have cutting edge technology, the phone still feels extremely fluid and fast. Up until you start to play heavy 3D graphic games at the highest setting, or you try to use a power intensive app that the lower budget processor and GPU start to show its true colors. I'm also still very impressed that OnePlus managed to include all these specs in such a low price tag, especially the support for 5G. There aren't that many smartphones in this price range that have 5G capability, especially in the US. That's another reason why I think this phone would have been somewhat successful here in the States. Now you probably think that this phone looks like every other OnePlus phone. I mean, it's got the same vertical camera module on the back, same tapered edges, very similar color choices, and the traditional rectangular form factor. It might as well just be called a OnePlus 8 Lite. However, this is a strategy. Carl Pei, one of the co-founders of OnePlus, said that they could have chosen to make this phone in two ways. The first was to go with an experiment, creating something that is much more daring with their industrial design. This can include some crazy unique feature or an insane design to catch a person's attention. OnePlus has done this in the past, such as their pop-up selfie on the OnePlus 7 Pro, or their controversial circular camera module on the back of the OnePlus 7T, but they chose not to take that route this time around. Instead, they went with plan B, which is to make the phone recognizable so that when people see it, they'll go, oh yeah, that's a OnePlus. It's the safe route, and they took it because more people will usually choose to purchase something that is more recognizable. It's a marketing strategy. And honestly, to me, the phone doesn't look that bad. It's not exciting, but it's still very comfortable to hold. It feels like the perfect size for one-handed use since the display isn't gigantic like the OnePlus 8 Pro. It's just slightly smaller than the OnePlus 8. Plus, I love that the screen is flat and has no curved edges. One of the problems that I had with the 8 Pro was my palm would continually provide accidental touches because the curved edges were a bit too excessive. Now I no longer have that issue, but if I had to nitpick about something from the design, it would have to be the back glass. It's so smooth to the touch, but it's a huge fingerprint magnet and it's also very slippery. A great solution to this would be to use OnePlus's sandstone black bumper case to give the phone a bit more grip and extra protection. Or a cheaper alternative is a skin from dbrand. Even though they sponsored this video, I've been using their skins for years because I love customizing the back of every phone that I use. It makes it a bit more personal, gets rid of those fingerprint smudges, provides a bit of grip, and many of the releases are fire. For example, their teardown skin for the OnePlus Nord looks spectacular. It basically shows off the phone's internals, and even though the actual battery isn't blue, it still fits its theme. dbrand also sells customizable cases if you prefer the extra protection, so if you're interested in checking them out, go to dbrand.com/howtomen or find the clickable link right below that like button. I had to save the best for last. This phone is all about the cameras and it's got a lot of them. For the rear module, you get a 48 megapixel primary lens, which is the same sensor found in the OnePlus 8, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, a 2 megapixel macro lens, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor for portrait mode. But it doesn't stop there. The front camera, or should I say cameras, are 32 megapixels for the main one and 8 megapixels for the ultra wide. So yes, there are 6 cameras total, which mind you have pretty impressive specs for a device that costs under 500 bucks. I would have liked to see a telephoto lens over a macro or depth sensor, but it is what it is. It seems like OnePlus is taking the same approach as Google and focusing most of their attention on the cameras. If you can remember from last year, Google released a low-budget smartphone called the Pixel 3a, and its main focus was the rear sensors, something that most budget competitors never even bothered to improve. Yet with this new motto, Google managed to double its smartphone sales in a single year. So I want to see if the Nord's cameras are just as good as those found in the OnePlus 8 Pro. I hope they provide the same quality shots in certain types of lighting. I hope the colors have become a lot more accurate, and I want to see how much the low light performance has improved. After all, OnePlus did claim that they have improved the image processing by removing unnecessary noise and providing better sharpening. Those dual front cameras are also going to be fun to play around with. This is the first time that OnePlus has ever included a dual front camera setup, and for those selfie shooters out there, such as myself, this is exciting. I'm especially pumped for the front ultra-wide lens. Most OEMs see the front camera as an afterthought, yet a large percentage of people use the selfie shooter more than the rear lenses. I know I do. I mean, I'm always on Snapchat, creating stories on Instagram, or face chatting with my friends and family. I'll be sure to test out every aspect of these cameras, so if you're not subscribed, you're going to want to do that right now. The full review is going to be very detailed, well documented, and will be released in a few days. I'll also go into detail about the battery life, quality of the display, show some of the sample shots and video footage from the OnePlus Nord, and tell you about the software. I would talk about it right now, but since I'm running a build that is still in pre-production, there may be a few bugs and features that you may not experience if you obtain the phone, so I'll just wait till the full review. In the end, the OnePlus Nord seems like a spectacular choice, especially for the price. Sure, its availability is limited, but for those who are lucky enough to have the opportunity to buy this device, you won't be missing out on much when compared to a higher priced flagship. The only things you'd be missing out on are water resistance, wireless charging, a higher resolution display with a higher refresh rate, although 90Hz is already really good, HDR10+, and a telephoto lens. Other than that, the experience could be very similar to that of the OnePlus 8 or even another high budget smartphone. At least on paper. Even the battery seems promising since it has such a great capacity. I do think it's a great purchase, but I'll be sure to give a more confident answer in my full review, especially since I'll go into more detail about the pros and cons of the device. Anyways, that's my first impressions of the OnePlus Nord. Thank you so much for sticking to the end. If you enjoyed my review, a simple thumbs up would seriously help out a lot. After all, these videos take a lot of effort and time to make. Also, get subscribed with the notification bell turned on so you don't miss out on any future videos that I make. And don't forget to check out those dbrand skins, especially if you're planning to get the OnePlus Nord. Style it up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Kapow!